Welcome back to Tales of the Dark. Tonight we have something different. 5 parts, 1 place, and a warning before we begin. Do not listen to this alone, especially if there's an empty park near where you live, because some places aren't abandoned, they're just waiting. Story 1, the park that was never closed. There's a park at the edge of my town that no one really talks about. It's not locked, not fenced. There's no sign saying it's closed, but no one goes there anymore. During the day it looks normal, old maybe. Worn down but normal. A few broken swings, rust on the slide, nothing unusual, but at night it's different. I didn't believe that at first. I thought it was just one of those local rumors. Every town has one. Some place people avoid for no real reason, so one night I decided to go there, not for anything specific, just to see, just to prove there was nothing to it. I got there around 11:40 p.m. The streetlights barely reached the entrance. Most of the park was swallowed in darkness, but I could still make out the main path. The playground was just ahead. I stepped inside. The air felt colder immediately, not freezing, just noticeably different, like stepping into a place that hadn't moved in years. I told myself it was nothing, just night air, just my imagination adjusting. I walked further in, gravel crunching under my shoes. The sound echoed more than it should have, like the space was too quiet. Then I heard something, a faint creak. I looked toward the playground. One of the swings was moving, slowly, back and forth. At first I thought it was the wind, but then I stopped walking. And the trees around me weren't moving. No wind, no sound, just that swing, creak, creak, creak. I stared at it for a few seconds, then laughed quietly. Okay, that's a little weird. I walked closer. The swing slowed down slightly, then stopped, completely still. Right as I reached it, I stood there, looking at it, waiting for it to move again. It didn't. The silence returned. Heavier this time, like it had been interrupted. I turned away, started walking toward the benches, trying to ignore it. Trying not to let something small get to me. Then I heard it again. But this time it wasn't a creak, it was footsteps, light, fast, behind me. I turned immediately. Nothing. The playground was empty, the swing still motionless. I frowned. Hello? No answer. I waited, listened, nothing. Just silence again, but something felt wrong, different from before, like I wasn't alone anymore. I kept walking further into the park, away from the entrance, toward a section I hadn't really noticed before. A path, narrow, half covered by overgrown bushes. I didn't remember seeing it during the day. But it was there now, clear enough to walk through. I hesitated, then stepped onto it. The deeper I went, the darker it got. The main park lights didn't reach here, only faint moonlight, barely enough to see the ground. The path felt longer than it should have been, like it kept stretching. And then it opened up into another playground. I stopped walking because this one was different. It didn't look old, it didn't look abandoned. Everything was intact, clean, almost new. The swings weren't rusted, the slide wasn't broken, the ground wasn't cracked. It looked like it was still being used. My chest tightened. What is this? That's when I heard it. Laughter, soft, distant, but real, coming from somewhere inside the playground. I stepped forward slowly, trying to see where it was coming from, and then I saw them, children, running, playing, moving between the equipment. At least 5 of them, maybe more, I couldn't tell clearly. They moved too fast, too quietly. My breath slowed because something about it didn't make sense. This park, no one comes here, especially not at night. Hey, I called out, no response. They kept playing. Like I wasn't there, like they couldn't hear me or didn't care. I stepped closer. Are you guys here with someone? Still nothing. One of them ran past me, close enough that I should have heard footsteps, but there was nothing, no sound, no presence. Like they weren't fully there. That's when one of them stopped, slowly, turned toward me and looked directly at me. My chest tightened instantly, because for the first time I felt it clearly, that something was wrong. The child tilted their head slightly, expression calm, too calm. And then they spoke. You're not supposed to be here. My throat felt dry. What? They took a small step closer, still staring at me. It's closed. I frowned. There's no sign. The park's open. The child smiled slightly, not friendly, not normal, and said, "It is now." The air around me shifted, subtly but enough to notice. The laughter stopped. The other children were no longer moving. I looked around quickly. They were all standing still, facing me, every single one of them, watching, waiting. My heart started racing. Okay, I'm just leaving. I turned toward the path, started walking back fast, but something felt wrong immediately. The path was longer, much longer than before. I kept walking, faster, but the exit wasn't getting closer. I stopped, turned around slowly, and what I saw made my chest drop completely. The playground behind me was gone. No lights, no children, no sound, just darkness, and something moving inside it, slow, watching me. Some places don't trap you immediately. Some places teach you the rules first. Story, the rules of the park I didn't run, not at first. Because something in my head was still trying to make sense of it, still trying to believe there was a normal explanation, that the path looked longer because it was dark, that the playground disappearing was just, what? A trick of the light. Even I didn't believe that. But I kept walking, faster now, trying to reach the entrance, trying to see the streetlights again, but they never appeared. The path stretched ahead of me, endless, unchanging, and the silence was getting heavier, like it wasn't just quiet, like it was watching. I stopped again, breathing uneven. This isn't real, but the moment I said that, I heard something behind me, a voice, soft, close, "You're still here." I turned instantly and saw him, the same child, standing a few feet away, closer than before, closer than he should have been. Because I hadn't heard him walk, hadn't heard anything, he just appeared. My chest tightened. "How did you didn't leave," he said, calm, like he was stating something obvious. "I tried," I replied. My voice didn't sound steady anymore. "The path just keeps going." He tilted his head slightly. "You walked the wrong way." I frowned. "There's only one path." He shook his head slowly. "No," a pause. "There are many." The words didn't make sense, not logically, but something about them felt true. Like I had already made a mistake. "What do you mean?" I asked. The child looked past me toward the darkness behind. "You weren't supposed to follow that one." A chill ran through me. "Then where does it go?" He didn't answer immediately. Just looked back at me and said, "Where it wants you to." The silence returned, thicker now, more present. I swallowed. "Okay, then how do I get out?" For the first time, his expression changed slightly. Not into fear, not into anger, something else, something closer to curiosity. "You do know," my stomach dropped. "No, that's why I'm asking you." He took a small step closer, slow, measured. "You have to leave before it notices you." My chest tightened. "What notices me?" The moment I asked that, the air shifted again, subtle but wrong. Like something had just changed. The child's eyes moved slightly, not toward me, past me, into the darkness. And for the first time he looked afraid. "You asked about it." My breathing stopped. "What? You're not supposed to ask that." A low sound echoed through the park. Deep, distant, not human, not anything I could recognize, but it felt aware. The child stepped back quickly. "Now, you have to go." "I don't know where to go." He pointed, not at the path I came from, but to the side, into the trees. "There." I looked. There was nothing, just darkness, branches, no path, no opening. "There's nothing there," I said. "There is now." Those words hit harder than anything else, because I remembered something from earlier, from the playground. The way things appeared, the way they changed. Based on something I couldn't control, or maybe something I had already done. I took a step toward the trees, hesitated, then pushed through, and immediately everything changed. The air felt colder, sharper, like I had crossed into a different part of the park. The ground wasn't gravel anymore. It was soft, like dirt or something older. I turned back. The child was gone, no trace of him, no sound, nothing. I kept moving, slowly, carefully. The trees grew thicker, blocking out the sky. No moonlight, no visibility beyond a few feet. But then I saw something ahead. A structure, faint, barely visible through the dark. I stepped closer and realized what it was. An old sign, wooden, half-broken, standing at the entrance of another section. I brushed some dirt off it, trying to read what was written. The letters were faded, scratched. But I could still make them out. "Park rules." My chest tightened. "Rules." I stepped closer, reading carefully. Most of it was too damaged to understand, but a few lines were still clear. "Do not stay after closing. Do not follow voices. If you see someone standing still, do not let them notice you. If the path changes, do not question it. If you hear something behind you, do not turn around. I stopped reading because I realized something immediately. I had already broken at least 3 of them. My hands felt cold. This isn't a joke. A branch snapped behind me, loud, close. My entire body froze because I knew exactly what rule I was about to break. And slowly, without thinking, I started to turn around. Some rules are there to protect you. Some rules are there to delay the inevitable. And some are already too late by the time you read them. Story, the thing that watches. I shouldn't have turned around. I knew it the second I started moving. The rule was clear. If you hear something behind you, do not turn around, but instinct took over. Fear always does, and slowly I looked back. At first I saw nothing, just trees, darkness, stillness. I exhaled slightly, relief trying to settle in. Nothing, but then I noticed something wrong. The trees weren't the same, the shapes felt off. Like something was standing between them, blending in, watching. My eyes adjusted slowly, and that's when I saw it. A figure, tall, too tall, standing perfectly still. Its body was thin, unnaturally thin, like it didn't have the right proportions. Its arms hung too long, its head slightly tilted. And its face, I couldn't see its face, not clearly. It was like my eyes refused to focus on it, like something was stopping me from understanding what I was looking at. My chest tightened instantly, because I knew that wasn't supposed to be there, and worse, it wasn't moving. It was just watching me. I stepped back slowly. Okay, my voice barely came out. Okay, I'm leaving. The moment I said that, it moved, not walking, not stepping, just closer, like distance didn't matter to it, like it skipped the space in between. My heart slammed against my chest. I turned and ran, branches scratched against my arms, the ground uneven beneath my feet, but I didn't stop. I couldn't, because I could feel it, behind me, not chasing, not running, but getting closer anyway. The sound of movement followed me, not footsteps, something else, something dragging, sliding, wrong. I pushed forward through the trees, back toward where the path should have been, but when I broke through, I wasn't where I expected. I stumbled forward onto gravel again, breathing hard, looking around the park, but different. The layout wasn't the same. The benches were in the wrong places. The playground gone, replaced by something else. A structure I hadn't seen before, tall, metal, like an old climbing frame, but twisted, bent in unnatural ways, like it had been pulled apart and forced back together. My breathing slowed slightly, confusion mixing with fear. What is this place? And then I remembered another rule: if the path changes, do not question it. I closed my eyes briefly, trying to focus, trying to stay calm, because every time I reacted, every time I questioned something, it got worse. I opened my eyes again and forced myself to move forward, slow, careful, ignoring everything around me, ignoring the wrongness of it all. And for a moment, it worked. The air felt still. The space didn't shift, nothing moved. I thought maybe this was how you survived, not reacting, not thinking, just moving. But then I heard something, a voice, faint, "Help." I froze instantly because it sounded familiar, too familiar. "Please," my chest tightened. That voice, it sounded like me. I turned my head slightly, trying to locate it. It was coming from the structure, from inside it. I'm stuck. My breathing became uneven. No, because I already knew what this was. Another rule: do not follow voices. I stepped back, slowly, trying to ignore it, trying not to listen. But the voice got louder, more desperate. "Please, don't leave me here." My hands shook, because it wasn't just similar, it was identical. My voice, my tone, my fear, like I was hearing myself from somewhere else or some other time. I took another step back, shaking my head. This isn't real. But then the voice changed, slightly, not the words, the tone, less desperate, more calm, more certain. "You already came here." My chest tightened. "What? You just don't remember yet?" The air shifted again, heavier, darker, and suddenly everything went silent. The voice stopped. The wind stopped. Even my breathing felt quieter. And that's when I felt it, that same presence. Closer now, much closer. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Because I remembered the rule: if you hear something behind you, do not turn around. But this time I didn't need to, because I could feel it. Right behind me, close enough that if I moved, I would touch it. A slow breath echoed in my ear, not mine. not human, and then it spoke, soft, right next to me. You looked. Some places don't chase you, they don't need to, because once you're inside long enough, leaving is no longer an option. Story, the park doesn't let you leave, you looked. The words stayed in the air long after they were spoken. I didn't move, I couldn't, because I knew whatever was behind me was close enough to touch, close enough to end this. My breathing slowed, not because I was calm, but because I was trying not to exist. Trying not to be noticed any more than I already was. Seconds passed, or maybe longer. Time didn't feel right anymore. It felt stretched, unstable, like it wasn't moving forward, just circling. The presence behind me didn't move, didn't speak again. It just stayed there, waiting, watching, and then something changed. The pressure lifted, slightly, not gone, just less focused, like its attention had shifted. I didn't wait. I stepped forward, slowly, carefully, every movement controlled. I walked away from it, without turning around, without acknowledging it again. And somehow it didn't follow, or maybe it didn't need to. I kept walking through the broken paths, past structures that didn't make sense, playgrounds twisted into shapes that weren't meant to exist, benches placed in the middle of nowhere, signs that changed when I wasn't looking directly at them. The park wasn't just wrong anymore, it was alive. Not in a way I could see, but in the way it reacted. Every step I took felt like it was being watched, measured, decided. And then I saw something that made my chest drop completely. The entrance, the actual entrance, the same one I walked through earlier, streetlights. The road beyond, real, normal, my breathing caught. I made it. I walked faster, then faster, almost running now because I could see it clearly. The exit, freedom. I reached the edge of the park, stepped onto the pavement, and stopped because something felt wrong, not behind me. Not around me, but ahead. The streetlights weren't flickering. They were too still, too perfect. The road was empty, no cars, no sound, nothing, like a picture, not real. I turned slightly, just enough to look back at the park. And the moment I did, the entrance disappeared. Gone. Replaced by trees, darkness, like it had never been there. My chest tightened. No, I stepped back, then forward again, trying to find it, trying to force it to come back, but it didn't, because it wasn't real, it never was. It was just another part of it, another layer. Another test. My breathing became uneven again. Okay, think, but thinking didn't help anymore. Nothing made sense. Nothing followed rules that stayed the same, except one thing, the rules on that sign, the ones I had already broken, the ones I didn't fully understand. And then I heard something behind me, not the same as before, not that thing, different, lighter, familiar, laughter. I turned slowly and saw them again. The children standing at the edge of the trees, watching me, but this time they weren't playing, they weren't moving, they were just there, silent, still. And closer than before. One of them stepped forward, the same one from earlier, the one who spoke. "You stayed too long," he said. My throat felt dry. "I'm trying to leave." He shook his head slowly. "You can't leave like that." "Then how?" He looked at me for a long moment, like he was deciding something or remembering something. Then he said something that made everything worse. "You have to take someone else's place." My chest tightened instantly. "What? That's how it works?" I stared at him. "No, that's not. You didn't read all the rules." The air shifted again, darker now. He pointed behind me. I turned carefully this time toward where the trees had been, but they weren't there anymore. Instead, there was something else. A structure, tall, familiar, a gate, old, rust-covered, and beyond it, I could see something that made my stomach drop. A figure, standing just outside, looking in, someone real, a person, at the entrance of the park, exactly where I had been earlier, looking around, unsure, curious. My breathing stopped. "No," the child stepped closer beside me. "They're new." I shook my head. "No, I'm not doing that. You don't have a choice." My chest tightened. "There has to be another way." He didn't answer because he didn't need to. I could already feel it. That presence again, stronger than before, closer than ever. The thing that watched, the thing that noticed me, and this time it wasn't waiting. It was coming. The air grew heavy, hard to breathe, like something massive had shifted its focus directly onto me. The children stepped back, slowly, almost in unison, like they were making space. Like they knew what was about to happen. And then the voice returned, not from behind, not from any direction, from everywhere. "You stayed." My chest tightened. "I didn't know. You broke the rules." The ground beneath me felt unstable, like it wasn't solid anymore. You saw. You followed, you turned. Each word hit harder, closer, more present, and then the final one, you don't leave. I looked toward the gate again, toward the person standing outside, still unaware, still thinking they had a choice, just like I had. My breathing slowed. Not because I was calm, but because I understood. This place didn't trap you immediately. It let you make mistakes, let you break the rules, until leaving wasn't possible anymore. And now there was only one way out. Some places don't need walls, they don't need locks. Because the moment you understand how they work, you realize you were never meant to leave. Story, the one who stays. I stood there staring at the gate, at the person outside. They hadn't seen me yet. They were just standing there looking into the park. The same way I had, curious, unaware, free. For now, my chest felt tight, not from fear this time, from something else, something heavier, because I understood what the child meant. You have to take someone else's place. At first, it sounded impossible, like something I could refuse, walk away from, but now I could feel it, that presence behind everything. The thing that watched, it wasn't forcing me, it didn't need to, because the choice wasn't really a choice. It was a condition, a rule, and I had already broken too many of them. The air shifted again, heavier, more focused, waiting. The children stood silently behind me, no expressions, no movement, just watching, like they had all been here before, like they had all made the same decision, or had it made for them. I looked back at the person outside. They took a step closer to the entrance, looking around, trying to see if anyone was inside. My breathing slowed because I remembered something, the first step. The moment I walked in, how normal it felt, how easy it was. I could still stop this, I could refuse, stay here. Become whatever this place wanted me to be. Another figure in the dark, another voice in the silence, another presence watching someone else walk in. Or I could do what it expected, what it had been waiting for. My hands felt cold because deep down, I already knew what I was going to do, not because I wanted to, but because I understood something I hadn't before. This place didn't just trap people, it replaced them. One by one, over and over again, and if I didn't take that step, I wouldn't just stay. I would become part of it completely, not aware, not thinking, just there, forever. The presence behind me grew stronger, closer, like it was waiting for my decision, like it already knew. I took a slow step toward the gate. The ground felt different here, more solid, more real. Like this part of the park connected to something outside, something normal. The person at the entrance noticed movement. They looked up. Our eyes met, and for a second they looked confused, like they didn't expect to see anyone. "Hey," they called out, "is this park open?" The same question, the same moment, the same beginning. My throat felt dry because I knew exactly what to say. I could tell them the truth, tell them to leave, tell them not to come in. But something inside me wouldn't let me, not forcefully, not like control, but like understanding, like I already knew it wouldn't matter, because even if they left, someone else would come, and eventually the park would get what it needed. It always did. I stepped closer to the gate, just enough to be clearly visible, and said the same thing I had heard before. "You're not supposed to be here." They frowned slightly. "What do you mean, there's no sign?" I felt something shift behind me, that presence, watching, listening, waiting, and then I said it, the words that closed the loop. "It is now." The air changed instantly. The person hesitated, confusion turning into uncertainty, then curiosity, the same mistake. They stepped forward, crossed the entrance, and the moment they did, everything shifted. The gate behind them disappeared, the path changed, the park adjusted, accepting them. Just like it had accepted me. My chest felt lighter, not relief, something else, something empty, because I understood what had just happened. I didn't escape, I didn't win, I didn't leave, I just moved from one side of it to the other. The person behind me turned, confused now, looking for the exit, trying to understand, just like I had, and for a moment I wanted to stop it, wanted to tell them everything, but I didn't because I couldn't, or maybe I chose not to. The children stepped forward again, surrounding them, watching, waiting. The same way they had watched me, and slowly I stepped back, away from the gate, away from them, into the darkness, not forced, not dragged, just accepted. Because this was my place now, not outside, not free, but not trapped the same way anymore, something in between. Something that watches, and somewhere far away in another town, on another quiet night, someone walks past an empty park. They stop, look inside, and feel something, a strange pull, a curiosity they can't explain, and maybe, just maybe, they decide to step inside, because it doesn't look closed. There's no sign, no warning, nothing stopping them, but they're wrong, because there is a rule. There has always been a rule, they just don't see it yet. And from somewhere inside the darkness, something watches them, waiting, patient, knowing exactly how it ends. If you are new here, subscribe to Tales of the Dark, where every story gives you a nightmare.